My name is Byrne, and this is Tracia. We serve as Youth Caucus chaplains, and before we get started today, we wanted to say a few words. Before and since arriving at Youth Caucus, there's been big, hard news in the world about what it's like to be a child or youth in our world today. We're aware of the enormous suffering brought on by policies, practices, and trauma in society. In our service today, we will be speaking frankly about difficult issues in the news and in our Unitarian Universalist youth lives. Our topics include gun violence, bullying, and sexual violence. We wanted to offer this content warning so that you can prepare to take care of yourselves and one another in the best way possible, including stepping away from this service. Please know that today's speakers are well taken care of and that we have and appreciate your support. And please, please take care of yourselves and one another, and remember that chaplains are available for and within Youth Caucus as well as in our General Assembly community. We're here this morning to say fear not. As Unitarian Universalist youth, we are energized to make a difference in this world. Since we got here, we've been connecting with one another, learning with and from one another. Know that there are luminary leaders ready to light this world up with love, and among us are summer seminarians preparing to share some really good news. With congregations and the world, we celebrate and thrive, and we are hurting, just like all people. And know that youth are at the general sessions and game nights too, because being involved in the work and the play helps us to stay healthy for the long haul. And this is long haul work. We are aware that there is much to do, and we are called to be part of the change for the good. And we say we are strong of spirit, vulnerable, and tender, and we are here today to say, fear not, we are already here to love the hell out of this world.
The rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven. morning. We have just received breaking news that the youth of this world are our only hope. Unitarian Universalist youth are called to serve the world and one another with justice, compassion, and abiding love.
Our stories this morning come from around the country: Indiana, Colorado, California, Florida, and right here in Kansas City. Our ACE reporters will be sharing more news with weather and traffic after this word from our sponsors. Youth sponsors, a vital part of the UUA General Assembly Youth Caucus community. Sponsors are responsible for the safety, health, and well-being of the Youth Caucus community at all times throughout GA. Thank you to all of our sponsors for your support. Now, after a short break, we'll be back with our morning weather report.
Good morning. The weather seems to be a growing problem. The 2017 hurricane season was one of the worst in history, with $282.16 million in damages and thousands of deaths to U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico. With the 2018 season upon us, there are already signs that it may devastate some of the areas that are still trying to rebuild. Wildfires have become the norm in parts of the West. Heat waves and large periods of rain and flood have become more common. Last winter, it snowed in places where the snow rarely falls, and it did not in places where it does. Extreme weather events are on the rise, and it seems that every time I turn on the news channel, it's having the same debate: Bill Nye the Science Guy versus some pundit arguing, is climate change real? As John Oliver once said, you do not need to debate a fact. You might as well debate which number is bigger, 15 or 5. Or do owls exist? Or are there hats? The earth and our health is a problem. And for the youth of this world, it is scary, because we want a future to be on the planet that is green and full of life. I want to be able to show my kids New York City above water. I want to be able to take my kids to the zoo and see a polar bear in real life, not just read about one. I want my kids to grow up in a world where they can breathe clean air and drink clean water and live a life surrounded by nature and more life. Youth are doing some amazing things to fight climate change. For example, in Indiana, where I live, groups of youth have gotten resolutions passed through 3 major cities, including the capital of Indianapolis. These resolutions make the city agree to go carbon neutral by 2035. Youth are also working to get similar resolutions passed in even more towns in the state of Indiana. This year, high school senior Johnny Cohen created Green Shield in his garage. It's an inexpensive device that, when put on a school bus, decreases fuel by 25%. And if we look at the big weather map, we see little Miss Flint, Marie Copeny, who reminds us that it's been 4.5 years since there was clean water in her city, and so many other places. Enough is enough. We despair. We are tied up in knots and worry. And we gather as a faithful justice makers to do what we can do, all of us, young, old, and in between, even if we are afraid or overwhelmed by the storms that threaten our lives. Friends, let's remember the fire of commitment that connects our lives, and let's join in worship together.
This is a multi-part song by the Northern California musician Debbie Nargi Brown, and we all need your voices to get this chalice lit this morning. Please join us as your voices and spirit arrive in this moment.
Good morning, y'all. Francisco and I are very, very pleased and honored to be the mentors for this amazing youth group this morning. And if you would rise, if you're willing or able, and celebrate with us. We're going to teach you a song that's got 4 parts, and so just get your part and hang on. All right? So, your love is enough. You are everything. Your love is enough. You are everything.
Okay, and the second part goes like this. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you and me. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you and me.
And the third part goes, your love will light up the candle. Your love will light up the world. Your love will light up the candle. Your love will light up the world.
And the fourth part goes, only love, 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 only love.
Everything.
Everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you and me. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you and everything. And everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you, and everything's a part of you and everything.
Your love is enough. You are everything.
Only love.
Reporting from near and far. I'm here to report that I learned rape is the only crime where the victim becomes the accused. I was asleep on the motor coach, coming home from an orchestral music festival. I woke up to a fellow musician's hand in between my legs. Strangely enough, earlier that day, we had been dancing and laughing together. I woke up startled and felt my throat burn. But I made the mistake that lots of survivors do. I told no one. Still, word got out and my name was slandered. I was called names, such as a rape caller and a slut. I was asking for it. My house was egged multiple times. I was told to kill myself multiple occasions. I felt alone. My pride and self-confidence shattered. My youth community was shocked. How could anyone do something so disgusting? How could others be so cruel? Many demanded I remain quiet. They tormented my friends for speaking out against the assailant. I knew many survivors were afraid to speak out, and I refused to be one of them. Though there are more severe cases and scenarios, my friends and I decided enough was enough. Shortly after, other individuals heard my story and decided to speak out against their assailants too. In no way, shape, or form is it ever okay for someone to make you feel as though you are less than whole. It is never okay for someone to cause you to feel silenced and belittled. There are no ifs, ands, buts about it. So let me conclude with this. If any of you here today have experienced the horrors of rape, sexual abuse, assault, or harassment, speak out. This is a place of unconditional love and support. You are not alone in this. You have a community here stronger than a bull. Dig your heels into the earth and stand your ground, for you are all beautiful and strong. And lastly, be brave, be bold, make a change, and be loud as hell. Thank you.
Only love, 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 only love.
Enough. My name is Zoe Johnston, and I'm reporting today from Colorado and beyond. As a queer kid in high school, things are messy. It seems as if you are facing a strict dichotomy at all times, gay or straight, out or closeted, cis or trans, when really you may be both, all, or neither. However, beyond this polarity, LGBTQ high schoolers are organizing within their GSAs. In the past, these 3 letters stood for Gay Straight Alliance, but in an effort to break down barriers, many groups are now gender sexuality alliances. With national issues such as bathrooms, healthcare, and purchasing wedding cakes, we see more than just court cases, and rather feel as if our hearts are being put on trial. As society puts us underneath a legal spotlight, we handle our own questions of sexuality, gender, whether or not to come out, and if we are safe. We come together to GSA to support and encourage each other through queerness in high school. Taking all of our love and our confusion and our questions and our anger, we translate that into a determination to create a just and loving world. In schools, many groups are identifying gender-inclusive restrooms to be used by non-binary students, if not changing main restroom facilities to be ungendered. We've also accompanied our friends to discuss their pronouns with teachers. We take the love that we have in our group and spread it through neighboring areas. Within my school district, we have all of the schools' GSAs meeting together at least once a quarter to create a wider support system and leadership development days twice a year. We have established contact with groups in nearby colleges to create an intergenerational queer coalition. We've partnered with local groups that care for LGBTQ youth that don't have safe places to stay, but don't doubt that we go further. Each year in Denver, we attend the LGBTQ Lobby Day at our state capitol to personally talk to our representatives about issues that matter to us and why they should care. This past year, we saw an issue pass through the House of Representatives that would allow trans folk to change their gender marker on their birth certificate without having to state that a change had been made. We are involving ourselves in this world. We lift up our hearts despite the fear that they may be broken by society. We are enough, and we will do more than enough to protect this inherent truth.
Only love, 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 only love.
I am reporting live from New Haven, Connecticut. My name is Pablo, and I attend the Unitarian Society of New Haven, which has a strong commitment to supporting refugees and immigrants. Personally, I've been working on behalf of refugees since I was 11. It began when a few friends asked me if I wanted to participate in the annual IRIS Run for Refugees, a fundraiser hosted by Integrated Refugee and Immigrant Services. After the race, I started to get involved in the summer of 2015. IRIS was seeking help from a UCC congregation that was setting up apartments for a Syrian family and needed cleaning and moving furniture done. While the request was sent out to the whole congregation, it was only a few youth and their parents that responded. That was the beginning of an amazing journey for me that continues to grow. In January of 2016, I helped set up an apartment with the youth of my congregation. We moved an apartment full of furniture in the snow. Just after 2016's election, our congregation became the leaders of the Refugee Resettlement Coalition that co-sponsored an Iraqi family with IRIS. We quickly began raising money and collecting furniture and other household items. Then, Trump issued his travel ban, severely restricting resettlement for refugees. Our group was discouraged. We didn't know what we were going to do. Some of us protested, and some of us protested on the streets, and some of us protested in front of town hall. My mom reassured our group, telling them that we would resettle people, even if it meant supporting the efforts of UUs in Canada, rather than resettling people in Connecticut. Then the banners lifted, right as we lost all hope. As a member of the resettlement team, I have helped set up the Iraqi family's apartment we have been sponsoring since April of 2017. I have been working with the children to help them adjust to the American culture. I've also been a top fundraiser in the IRIS Run for Refugee for 3 out of the past 4 years I've run, and I recently made a promotional video for them. This summer, the day after I get back from GA, June 25th, I intend to serve as an intern with IRIS, working as a summer learning camp intern. I will also continue to help the Iraqi family we co-sponsor as they become more independent. I want my children to grow up in a world where the people and even our president don't think refugees are bad people. From the time I've spent working with refugees, I can tell you they are some of the nicest, hardworking, and caring people I've met. I've had enough of the hatred and enough of the people that tell them, you aren't welcome here. This is why we should all do enough, and I will continue to do more than enough to support refugees.
Only love, 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 only love.
Enough. I'm Allison Luck, reporting live from Davis, California, and Washington, D.C., and Parkland, Florida, and right here on the plaza, and in dozens of cities and towns across the country. Enough. I got out of school at noon on Wednesday, February 14th. I walked out of my photography class, water bottle and keys in hand, and I started the walk to my car. I opened the Twitter app on my phone. I pulled down to refresh, and immediately my feed was filled with reports, images, and videos of a gruesome shooting in Parkland, Florida. I reached my car, unlocked it, set down my backpack, and sat in the driver's seat. I clicked on a video. I watched a young girl get dragged across a classroom by her peers. She had just been shot. I closed the app. I drove home in silence. For the next hour, the next day, the next week and month, my thoughts were consumed by this shooting. This shooting that occurred more than 3,000 miles away. In fact, for the past 129 days, during which we've seen at least 15 more school shootings, this Parkland shooting has been on my mind. It was on my mind when only 20 students from my school participated in a walkout. It was on my mind when my mother and I flew to Washington, D.C. from California to participate in the March for Our Lives. It was on my mind when someone I've attended school with for 6 years threatened to bring an assault rifle into school and shoot all of the women on campus. As a teenager, I'm not expected to be passionate about topics as controversial as gun control. I've received the shocked expressions, the exclamations of surprise, the unwarranted opinions. I've gotten the, "You liberals just want to take away our guns," and the, "Teenagers are too young to have a say in policy making." And yet, here we are. Movements organized by high school students, national organizations creating student branches, millions of young people turning up and making the changes we want to see. Young people, students, teenagers, we have all decided that we have had enough. Enough of our friends and our peers dying. Enough of turning classrooms into war zones. We have had enough. Thank you.
Dancing is cool.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon. 'Cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. Because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day.
are called. We are called to be of support and be led by our youth in our faith community. We adults who are tied up in knots with worry and concern find ourselves called to a greater strength, resilience, and accountability to these callings and the inheritances and testimonies of our ancestors and our offspring, for they are all ours. Now I invite you to settle yourselves, take a deep breath, and let us enter into a spirit of prayer, honoring the listening to each vocation of the heart and spirit, no matter the age and stage of life, with these words from the Reverend Normal Cordell, who herself was a religious educator and later a parish minister in San Rafael, California, until her death in 1999. The calling. They are the songs that come from the voices of the earth. Sometimes they come as murmurs that rise up through the ground into our feet and travel to our hearts and minds. Come quickly, they whisper, come quickly. You, I am calling you. The time is now, not later. You must remember me. Voices that are forever praying old ways, new ways, and in dreams both night and day. Prayers shuddering up through the trees, becoming the breath of the wind which circles the earth. They are prayers of the stones and bones making their way back home. You, I have chosen you. Remember all your relations. Remember the prairies, the canyons, the mountains, and the rivers. Remember the sweet grass and the starry nights. Those who swim, crawl, slither, and fly. Listen to the call to come home. Trust your heart and your knowing. Awaken. Let us come home to the beginning and end of time. Let our infinite kindness create and restore our family. May those ancient voices become our prayerful song, and may we sing it every day for the rest of our life. Listen, they are calling. They are calling you, calling you, and calling you, and calling you.
All are called. Repeat after me. All are called.
All are called.
To this moment.
To this moment.
All are called.
All are called.
In in many ways.
In many ways.
Hearts knit strong
Hearts knit strong
by compassion.
by compassion.
All are called
All are called
to this day.
to this day.
I say all are, you say called. All are? All are? All are called to this day.
All are called to this day.
We are called.
We are called.
We are called.
We are called.
As we conclude this morning's broadcast, we invite you to weather the storms with us and to weave the prayers of your calling. Throughout this General Assembly, we have been called to dream, to serve, to unravel, and to repair.
Fear not. We are all in this together. And through the affirmations of our testimony, we grow stronger, and may it truly be that in our faithful, active daily lives, that our community be the missing remnant in the fabric of our future. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Go shining. All right.
We can't hear you.
Thank you. Love you.